he was really active for years as the architecture critic for the Boston Globe. And incidentally, he's a Pulitzer Prize winning writer. I mean, he's the guy who can put into words what's in the big issues about design. He knows how to simplify them and put them into print very clearly. There's no gobbledygook. And when I started in the late 70s, I had a camera, I had no work. I decided to do a book called Boston Then and Now. It was comparative pictures. I'd take a picture from the 1880s. I'd take a Xerox or a print of it, a copy of it out in the field, and I'd take I'd find the station point. I'd get exactly the station point and reframe that picture today, right? And I got good at it. Some of the pictures I could do, I got them perfect. And when in the darkroom, I would put the old print down on the easel, and before I put the photo paper in, and I adjust the cropping, I project the picture in the enlarger, and it would register perfectly, except that the buildings had changed, right? I always did it with one or two buildings that had stayed, so you had a visual touch point, kind of like an anchor. So anyway, I did that book by myself, and right before it got published, I asked Robert to write a foreword to the book. And it's one of the best things he's ever written. It's like a page and a half long, and it says, here's what the old city was good at, and here's what the new city's good at. And it just put the whole book and the whole project in context. So after he wrote that, I asked him if he wanted to collaborate, and we started in '83, and we were still doing it 20 years later. We were always on. We did it in the Boston Globe magazine. We did kind of like one a month, and he never knew the pictures I would select. I was chasing around with a bunch of them, and it was a lot of work. But I would finally get two that worked and send them to him, and I never knew what he was going to write until I read it in the newspaper. So it was a perfect marriage, right? We just left each other alone. And I think that was one of the real strengths of it. I've tried reshooting some of them. I think somebody else has to pick up that mantle with another layer of meaning in it. Mostly it was the loss of warmth and scale, and the idea that, so there's this cool thing he said about Rome. When you're in Rome, it's as if the streets were carved out of a big mass of solid architecture. In other words, the streets become rooms, and the buildings are the walls, and the sky is the ceiling, and you're enclosed and you feel safe. The buildings aren't too high, the materials are warm, the streets curve in funny ways, so they're interesting, and everything that makes a city like Rome or Paris famous is this marvelous kind of feeling that you got these lines cut through a slab of urban fabric. And the other place you see that is this famous map by Giambattista Noli from 1740. You know, everybody gets it in architecture school, and he understood that Rome, that's what made Rome so unique. And the map is incredibly famous and quite beautiful, and that's kind of why I want to take one of his maps and turn it into steel, but don't hold your breath on that one. That'll take a while.